Me and Tara, Leach, and Raven Lucie sat down more than a month ago now to talk about this opening, the order of events, because there's a lot of moving parts. And I said, usually what happens is I just kind of use a teacher voice, get everybody's attention, and then just pass the mic right on, because it's absolutely part of the Art Gallery of Southwestern Manitoba's mandate to hold space for and uplift Indigenous voices, and sometimes that just means getting out of the way. And Raven said, I don't know, I like it when people come up and just talk about how they share this land, right? And I just love that so much, especially coming from, Raven's not going to get up, but I want to make sure that she gets full acknowledgement as being a major cog of this beautiful collaborative project. That's really what I'm getting at, is that this soul who is into connections said, no, come and talk about sharing, right? Share this space, share yourself, right? Be generous. So how do we share this land? That's homeland for some and home for now for others. We share it with that knowledge of connectedness, right? As the opposite of separated, as the opposite of separation. So when we talk about connectedness and the ancestors and all the cultures that have been here and have shared it, have used it, have left it, have cared for it, it's important that we say their names. That this is the Cree and the Dakota, who have been here since time immemorial, the Red River Métis, who have their origins right here, and the Anishinaabe, Anishinaabe, and Dene peoples who have shared this land since time immemorial. I also love that this event is taking place right at the beginning of the year. When we talk about this land, I'm not giving it a name because we're talking about boundaries. Well, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We know that it's the beginning of the year and not that random January 1st that somebody decided on, because this is where the light takes over the darkness, right? This is the rebirth, where we are right now in the year. So thank you, Raven, for reminding me that silence is rarely the generative choice, right? What we see here today is art and voices both speaking very loudly to force that darkness into the light. Thank you all for being here, and I'm going to invite, please, Elder Frank Tacan, up to open this in a good way with a prayer.
I still get nervous. How we talk if we walk by don't you walk happy. We was a Pahichi Machaga. My Christian name is Frank Tacan Senior. I'm here in Brandon. I used to work for Friendship Center, but I retired. So I'm more busy. Leave me alone.
That's good.
Sometimes as people, we need to grieve the losses. We lose a lot of things. And sometimes we don't get that time for ourselves to grieve. And sometimes coming here, looking at the pictures, release some of that grieving that we need to release. We shed a few tears, stuff like that. Because this is a beautiful event. We're all here as human beings, as we should treat each other like human beings. So that's what I want to pray for. So pray with me. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. Just speak from the heart. I'll be talking to us. How I can't talk about the cook kahito. How they made a umak be don't you walk up. How state if they we could be a chan. All the we reach at least we hope. Oka the hot dark was still welcome. Oka hana dark water was still chuped. The heart was on it. We chose the how to what we have it. Who heat it up. Hada open hada wakatak. The heart dark one walk a pocket boat to this utik. On the heart watch chakuga day. Dark was the ekinaka. Yok Yuski, Pawita, what oxy knows it better on her. Our Katakushukida. Dark to the wash take the dark sheets. Takucha na opuder, Portugal kape, hoda kupo. Yok bu yüzke tukatke. Ayushke knows what chose the ha. Our katakushikira, hoda mako. Why chigusha hochira. Creator God, give us your blessings today. Creator, bless all these beautiful people. Some of us carry grief, anger, jealousy, hate. But Creator, today, as we come together as human beings, that we respect one another. I pray for what's needed in this community. I pray for Gina, beautiful pictures. Give her that strength to do some more wonderful work. So Creator, also be these beautiful people. Bless them. Give them that health they need. We're still going through an epidemic, COVID. There's a lot of disease more coming. So Creator, straighten our bodies, make us healthy, eat the good things in life, and speak the good things in life. And to love one another and get rid of this jealousy, the hate, the racism. So Creator, this is our prayer today. Bless this beautiful building that we're in. Take all the negative stuff out and replace it with positive things. So Creator, God, this is our prayer today. How shikira. Vitaka pivas. Thank you.
Justina said she didn't want to say anything. Is that still true? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the artist, Justina McKay.
Thank you. I can't believe you're all here. Aw, I just want to cry. Thank you for viewing my art the way I see it. It's been a long time. I've been painting and drawing since I was 5 years old, and I'm going to be 60 next month. Yeah, so thank you. A lot of my work is inspired by my relatives, my dad going to residential school, and my older siblings all going to residential school and day school, and my cousins and my uncles and aunties. I just wanted to acknowledge also the murdered and missing Indigenous women, because they're part of that legacy now for us, and we can't forget. And I appreciate you looking at my work, because for me it was more on the spirit of our lives. Like I said in the article in the Brun and Sun, like it's all our spirits are in everything that we have, like in the air, the trees, the earth, and especially in our ancestors when they guide us. So, Jimmy Gwetch for coming.
Thanks. And now I'm so happy that Gina, Justina's sister, encouraged us to have a drum to set this off. Would you come up and talk about the song that we're going to sing?
Bonjour, Kinauya. Gina, Neepinak, Deshnekas, Ojijak them. We're going to sing this missing and murdered Indigenous women warrior song. It's called the warrior song for these all the women and men that we've lost. So the song originates in British Columbia. Is where it comes from. And they had quite the loss over there as well. I was studying about the Highway of Tears in British Columbia. And it's such a short distance of a highway, and so many hundreds of young women, young girls were taken. So it's to remember them, and also all across Canada. And also even into the United States, because it's not just happening here, it's also happening in the States. So probably in other countries as well. That's what the song is about. So, Chimiigwech, if you know the song, please join with us singing. Wants to sing it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the drummers could come forward. Anybody that wants to sing, you have a drum.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
There's extra tobacco ties in here. If anybody wants to take one, you're welcome to take one for if you want to say prayers or they'll be available over here at the table.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. What a beautiful way to honor those missing women. This is the opening of 2 exhibitions this evening. One, Reconciliation, Resilience, and Red by Justina McKay, and the other is the Tears of Truth Bead Curtain. So I'd like to welcome Tara Leach up to talk about that project.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tara Leach, and I'm a 3rd-generation settler descendant on this land. I'm an alternative high school teacher at Prairie Hope High School, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak tonight. The making of art together in community helps us sit with the hard truth in a supportive and constructive way. I'm sure that each person who beaded a string for the Tears of Truth installation experienced this. And now, these precious strings are all brought together and exhibited here in the gallery. And they've become a tangible sign of our shared commitment to always remember and tell the truth of the harm done by residential schools and colonial systems and people, and to do the work that will bring about a better truth for future generations to remember and tell. A future where Indigenous people and ways of knowing, doing, and being are respected, where worldviews come together in creative and compassionate ways, where relationships can heal and our interconnected communities can thrive. I would like to express sincere gratitude to the Manitoba Indigenous Reconciliation Secretariat for our Orange Shirt Day project funding this past September, which allowed us to purchase the beads supplies for the project and support Indigenous vendors and creators. I would like to thank every participant, contributor, and supporter from our schools and from our community who took part so respectfully and intentionally. Thank you to Chloe Gobet, our excellent graphic designer, and Shane Charlebois, who harvested the diamond willow. Thank you to Raven Willoughby and Christine Cantlow, my co-facilitators, and Catherine McFarlane and Ashley Dyson, Prairie Hope principals who supported the project. Thank you to Lucie Lederhendler and the AGSM for the curation, collaboration, and support in housing this exhibition so beautifully. And to Justina McKay for her uncompromising and powerfully moving art. We are humbled and honored to have Tears of Truth exhibited alongside her incredibly important work. I'm thankful to the drummers for the song, to Deborah Tacan for the smudge, and to Elder Frank Tacan for the prayer to help us open the exhibition in a good way, and for the incredible amount of good work they do in our community. At this time, I would like to introduce Diana Morrisseau, Cree language and knowledge keeper, who has kindly agreed to say a few words about taking part in beading strings for Tears of Truth with her family. Would you come, Diana? Thank you. I'm under the stool.
Tansi, New hello people. Meanwhile, Nina, I am a Cree woman. So when I got asked to participate in stringing of the beads for this art installation, I was truly touched. My mind went back to memories of when I was a child. And growing up, up in Moose Lake, Manitoba, up north. It's near the Paw. And grew up in a Cree home. Both parents were Cree, fluent. That's how I was able to retain my language, my Cree language. Although my mom understood English, she chose not to speak it, and that was her choice. We all respected that. So we kept the language alive in the house, and my mom was a beautiful Cree woman that loved to bead. She was very passionate about beadwork. She could sit for hours just beading. And as little children, we watched her do that. So curiosity we would be curious as to see what she was doing. So we'd go stand. We'd stand. Me and my little niece, who was about the same age as I was, and we'd watch my mom bead. So it got to an age where we wanted to take part in the beading, but we were still too young. So my mom would give us strings. She would bead. She would give us a needle, and she would give us the string to go with it. And she always had this big canvas cloth, and inside that canvas cloth there was an abundance of beads. And they were not one color, they were many colors. They were just all jumbled up. So my mom would give us the strings with the needle, the thread and needle, and she would tell us, "Tapsege," and that means, in Cree, that means thread those beads. So that was our thing. It was our contribution to helping my mom with her beadwork. She would tell us to focus on stringing the same color on one strand. So we'd sit quietly, for hours. We didn't know we were sitting for hours, because the focus and just sitting quietly and doing that beadwork, it's healing. And a lot of our Indigenous people have found that the healing properties of the beads. So they're taking to that, and that's such a beautiful thing to reach for when you're feeling out of sorts. Just finding a quiet space and working with those beads. So, and as a child, I would sit and bead, and I remember that. So when I saw the art installation taking off, and she asked for volunteers, Tara asked for volunteers, I wanted to be part of that, and I wanted my family to be part of that. So I asked for some beads, and I took these beads home. And I talked to my family about the importance of stringing the beads, and how sacred this exercise, or this thing that we were doing for the art installation was. It was symbolizing each child, that went away to residential school, and the importance. So in prayer, we sat as a family. We did this project together as a family, and it brought us together like it should. So, and as I was sitting there, my mind went back again to being a child, where I was just carefree and just wanting to do what my mom was doing. And then, as an adult, I was doing the same thing, but this time I was doing it for a reason. And that's when the tears came. This is the tears of truth. The art installation, it carries so much weight, and it also carries a lot of inspiration. Because for us, we're left to deal with what happened, and the ripple effect of residential schools. Still the devastation, it's still prominent in our communities. But as Indigenous people, we're strong, we're very resilient. We know our ways, we know the path. Even though some of our ceremonies were forbidden, we found ways to bring them back. That's how resilient our cultures are as Indigenous people. So we embrace all our cultures. We don't discriminate. We respect all cultures. We embrace everybody, and we think about the representation of the art installation for the colors that represent the art installation. The orange, for children, the blue, the white, and the clear. Those are all tied in, for components towards a healing. because Creator gifted us with tears, you know, and we should not be ashamed to shed those tears. For when we shed, we are healed. So when we shed those tears for, you know, kids that never made it back, kids that are still struggling from what happened, residential schools, people that, for the kids that never made it home, or for the kids that were never accepted back into the communities. This is a real, true representation, the art installation, to honor those people, those kids that never made it home, and for the ones, and for people that are still struggling from the effects of residential school. So a couple of years ago, I was taking some language courses, and I was asked to do a piece on residential school, and they asked me to do it in my language. And for me, that was a challenge because I didn't know how to interpret residential school. So, but there was quite a few intelligent knowledge keepers in my group. I was very fortunate, and that's how we learn, you know, gathering. So this one person from Norway House, she told me that it's already there, that the residential school, Kiskinoa Matuigamik, Mato means cry in Cree. So Kiskinoa Matuigamik means is a representation of a place where you will cry. Whereas Kiskinoa Gay, Kiskinoa Gaygamik, is a place where you go and be taught. So that was the difference, and it just blew my mind. Those words were always in front of me, except I never knew the difference. So with gathering and, you know, like this gathering of minds, and, you know, like having the heart, you know, and, you know, just to commemorate and to honor those children. It's very it's a little step towards what we can do, I guess. But it's such an honor to stand here today and talk about stuff that, you know, that's been our past. But we need to move forward, and for that, it's really hard sometimes to accept what happened to our people in the past. But in order to move forward, we need to accept, and we need to move forward, because that is what change is about. And for our country to start recovering, or start standing up, getting up from what happened. No, it's in the making right now, and I encourage people to just stand strong, firm on your traditional values. You know, embrace your cultures. We have beautiful culture, and I just wanted to share that, and I will end it with a short prayer. So I will say this prayer in my language. It's in Swampy Cree, and it's a prayer. And I also want to say thank you to Tara and Raven and Christine for giving me the opportunity to come up, say a few words, and so join me in prayer. I say a few words in my language. Kawaskanis with me Swiss County Snia and Mantu. Anipages Monina. Kenanas commit na sky sigak. Mama Winiak. The bear Tamisko Wasak. Kagi Sibetaitic. There is Kinamatuigamigoagis. Kagis Betaitic. Wadi the Gaigas. Tagasig. So when I make a new animal, come on, it's come into any magic. You know, I know how I suck. Eminuisia. Mantu Eminuwa was gifts. I was taking so up my work. I know was a good task. Bine nanas kaman mo sa hospitana be miyan tayo mi recipes gan. Marmina tayo Mr. Mora gano aniwas. Pagawtik yet minawa tagiyat minawa skidat itom dot na ko ukmat sinuwa. So I make one too. So I minan sa pura gano skatama. Paragi to may sige this much panic. Everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana. Now it's also my honor to ask Kevin Tacan, Dakota Spiritual Advisor and Brandon School Division Elder, to also come forward and share some words with us.
Homitak yapi. Kawasna hiba. Wasna bed shoes up it. Very honored to be here to come and see the gallery, the show, the installations. Art is a big part of my life, my family's life, our tribes. We're a beading family where I am. So much of a beading family that we ended up opening a store selling beads. Most of you have been there, so I'm thankful that you come and come to the house, and it's always nice to see you coming around. I thought about the beads when I was walking down there, and I took a look at them and I saw the orange beads, and I thought, 2 of those orange beads are my mom and my dad. They both went to residential school, and they protected us from going into residential school, but you could see the damage that it had. I'm the youngest of 8 in my family, and for years I always thought that my native name was Inina Yankawa, but that means be quiet and sit still. But they moved around a lot. I played around a lot, but in that time I learned to sit still. I learned to listen. And I heard a lot of stories growing up. I heard a lot of the older people when they come to visit. When we'd go and visit, I heard a lot of stories, and I carry those with me inside, and I share them all over. I share them wherever I can. But in this instance, when I'm thinking about what Kara and Raven and all of the artists who worked together to put up the installation, it reminded me of a conference that I went to. I went to this conference in Winnipeg Convention Center a couple of years ago, and I'm sitting at a table with some of the people from our community. And there's an elderly gentleman from our community sitting there. We're talking to each other in Dakota, and then this guy comes over and he says to him, he mentions his name, "Is that you?" And he said, "Yeah." And he stood up and he looked at this other older gentleman that came from one of the native communities from up north. "Is that you?" And he said, "Yeah." And they both started crying. They haven't seen each other since they were little boys in residential school, and they were already in their 70s. They haven't seen each other in all that time. And I thought, how did they recognize each other? All that emotional trauma, the physical trauma that they went through, connected them, connected their spirit. They both endured something together that nobody should. But they saw each other, they remembered that they were best friends. They were inseparable the rest of the conference. They sat at the table and I could just hear them laughing, and I moved closer and they'll look at me and they'll say, "We're just talking about when we were starving in school, when we didn't eat for a couple of days and then we had to sneak an apple," and they're sitting there laughing, and that was their coping mechanism. That's how they survived the struggle that they were going through. And they enjoyed each other's company after that, talking about how they were playing and riding horses and things like that. They made it sound like a lot of fun, but it was a horrible experience that they went through, but they survived it together. And 60-something years later, they run into each other again and reconnect. And it was a powerful moment for me to see and watch my uncle sitting there reconnecting with another little friend. And just for a minute or two, I looked in their eyes and I can see little boys. I thought, wow. So I'm walking down this aisle, this hallway, and looking at all of these pictures and the beautiful work that Justina put into all of this and her prayers. I thought of them again while I was walking that way. I'm very blessed to be here and that you're all here. And one of the things that I'm happy about is that people who haven't gone through that experience or lived with those intergenerational effects, like Tara, going beyond and making these connections and making this work visible for the community, for them to come and see this is action, this is how we do it, this is how we remember that time in our life. We don't just brush it under the rug and say, okay, well, you guys get over it. What they're doing is really good work, and art is what's going to heal this community. Art is what's going to heal this country. I'm really sure that the art that our people do, the music, everything that we do, the movies, that's what's going to help heal all of this intergenerational trauma. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad to see you all here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the installation and the pictures. And thank you for having me and giving me a little bit of time to speak.
Thank you, Tara, for having us right out the order. I would have messed it up, but I didn't write a thank you, farewell, enjoy the show. So thank you. Enjoy the art, enjoy the food, enjoy each other. Off you go.